Hello and welcome to another Wellness Wednesday workshop. I'm your host, Vicki Whitking, and I'm so glad that you can join me this morning. It is a beautiful day. For those of you who are watching live, this is a portal day, 11/11. November 11th is the date of this stream, and it really is something that it lines up magically. Maybe some of you notice when it's 11:11 on a clock periodically and think, what is that about? I've heard about that. Today we're not going into the 11:11 thing, but I just wanted to let you know that today is a very special day and we can step into this new portal that we're entering, or that we're having the ability to connect with right now, and set intentions for the coming year and probably beyond. So really, what you're thinking about today, the plans you're making today, what you're thinking about next year or next month, or the holidays, because that is what we are talking about today. Today's the perfect day to do it. So we are going to set our intentions for having a holiday with less stress and more joy. And that's a tricky, tall subject. So let me just say hello here. Am I on? I thought I was on. Maybe I'm not. Hold on one sec. That's okay. We're going to get right into things. But before we begin, I would like you to take a step back, sit comfortably, sip a little bit of tea if you've got something, and just really be here now. And I want you to really do this from now, not just now during this workshop, but from now until let's say January 11th. That gives you 2 good months of just, reminding yourself to be present, to be here right now and nowhere else. I know the world is grabbing at us from all angles, but really what we need to be doing is focusing on the one thing in front of us in each moment. And if we can do that through the holidays and with this holiday mindset, you're going to be able to basically just have a wonderful time and leave all of that stress and expectation at the door. So here I am. Here's a few photos of me doing things that, in my natural environment. So my husband and I, there he is in the corner up there with me. That's us up at Glacier National Park. We love to go out on adventures and spend time outdoors, and we do some hiking and skiing and rafting, and recently I was horseback riding again. I love to do that. I only get to do that every so often. It is really great to be able to have a lifestyle that allows me to not only be healthy and active and happy, but to call the shots, to do the things that we love to do when we want to do them. It's really a blessing. And I want the same for you. So we're going to at least take charge of one small part of our lives with the holiday mindset for less stress and more joy. So here are a few do's and don'ts for what we're going to be encountering or needing to bring up in ourselves over the next, we've got about 6 weeks of holiday season here. And I'm not one to be like, all into holiday things before their time. I really dislike the merchandising in the stores and things of everything's for sale before the holiday. There's already Christmas stuff up. But actually, that is kind of valid. You can prepare ahead of time, but I don't ever put my tree up before December 1st, but actually being prepared to put your tree up isn't a bad thing, right? So here are some do's for this season as we like it or not, are moving into the thick of the holiday season. First one is remember your purpose. What are we doing for the holiday? What is really the reason that we're doing this? Is it just because it's what we've always done or what someone expects? Or are we really having some kind of deeper mission for what the holiday is about? So that could be many different things. We're going to talk more about that. Manage your expectations. This is a big one where you can just go completely overboard and berserk with what you think you need to do to pull off the perfect holiday. So we're going to talk more about that. And then prioritize your well-being. If you let yourself slide, and a lot of people adopt that mindset of, well, it's the holidays, so, and then, finish the sentence any way you like with your maybe a little bit of self-sabotaging behavior. If you prioritize your well-being at this time of year, you're not only going to feel great, but you're going to be able to do everything more effectively and really be there for others. Okay, some holiday don'ts. Don't let yourself get run down. So I'm just going from, obviously we need to prioritize our well-being, but even sometimes if you're, doing all the things, but you're still way too busy or being anything for everyone, it's going to take a toll on you. So you're going to have to manage that. I'll talk some more about that. I want you to not feel guilty if things aren't the same as always. This goes for every year, but especially this year for obvious reasons. So if things aren't, exactly like you always do them, we're going to try to relax with that. And then number 3, be everything to everyone. You cannot be everything to everyone. I know that the holidays kind of highlight the need in others' lives or our desire to want to help or, be there in some way. You can only do so much of it, and you gotta make sure you're aligned with your purpose. And so we're going to talk about that. All right, so there's the do's and don'ts. So back to the do's. Remember your purpose. Why do you celebrate? Why do you celebrate this time of year? Is it because of baby Jesus? Is it because you like Christmas movies? I mean, what? It doesn't matter what it is. Is it because you celebrate Kwanzaa? And that's your purpose, is to bring, more of your culture into, and more of your holiday culture into mainstream America. I hope that could be part of your purpose, not in an overbearing way, but interesting, right? Why do we celebrate? What are we all here for? It's not just about turkey and, new sweaters or whatever. So who's involved in this purpose? So maybe your purpose is something like, we are going to donate to our local shelter for battered women. Great. So who's involved in this? Because it is something to celebrate that we have enough to share. That is honestly what we are doing here at this time of the year. We're bringing back the light. We're all kind of going into the dark part of the year in the northern hemisphere here. We're bringing back the light. That's why we're celebrating. Yay, winter's, halfway over. But if we have that greater purpose of, I really want to feel like I contributed in some way, who's going to help you with that? Are you going to expect everyone in your household to be, on the bandwagon with that and be upset when they're not as enthusiastic as you, or don't think it's a good idea? I don't know. Whatever your purpose is, you have to align who you're involving, where you're doing it, how you're doing it, all together. And then, of course, what makes the holiday special, it doesn't matter what it is, but for you, something that makes the holiday special is undefinable, in certain ways. For me, it's something kind of different every year about what makes the holiday special. And you could say, oh yeah, well, it's spending time with family. Great. Maybe you can't spend time with everyone in your family like you usually do this year. That might not be an option. What are you going to do that makes the holiday special? Is it cooking something? Is it, well, what if you can't get, that special something that grandma always put in, that dessert that you love, and it just won't be the same? You know, some of those things that you think really makes the holiday special, in the long run, don't align with your purpose and don't really matter in that long run. So if something were to make the holiday special, for me, it's just knowing that I was able to give. That would make the holiday special. And I usually make I have my little charities that I give to. And the more that you can give is reason to celebrate. I mean, there's no point in us having really fancy holiday extravaganzas when we're not helping our neighbor. And that's hopefully somewhere around your purpose of why do we celebrate? It's because we have abundance and we can share it. So what makes the holiday special? You decide. And then you're going to have to make sure that you can pull it off and it's good. And it doesn't have to be anything major. For me, sometimes it's just going around driving, looking at Christmas lights, like whatever. Okay, number 2 thing to do, manage your expectations. This is hard to do around the holidays because there is a lot of pressure to go bigger and better. Again, with Christmas lights, that could be something. There's also the idea that you have to do it the same, or that it has to be absolutely perfect, or that everyone has to be on board with my plan. It's hard to do. Like, everyone has their idea about how Christmas should go and what makes it special for them. And I tell you what, everybody's idea is a little bit different. So you might have to find some common ground between what you want to do and what's actually possible. And really, if somebody doesn't want to be as involved as you in something, or come over or whatever, don't take it personally. You need to really, this year more than ever, be able to go with the flow and let things, kind of slide. Because everyone is under some unusual stress and pressure this holiday season. I think every holiday season is a little bit stressful for most people, but this year especially. So don't feel like you have to be that big and expansive kind of more everything. Maybe less is more this year. Okay, the third do, prioritize your well-being. So here it is, set realistic boundaries. The boundary word. Nobody likes the boundary word. Some people have too harsh of boundaries, and some people don't have any boundaries. And the the boundaries that you have around time, energy, money, emotions are all kind of similar in some ways. Or maybe they're opposite or something. But if you look at the way that you handle time, energy, money, and emotion, you can see your tendencies and a pattern. So if it's a tendency to stay up real late watching Christmas movies, no, I'm never guilty of that. Maybe you need to put, a little more of a bedtime limit on yourself or something like that. Boundaries around food, boundaries around how much time you'll spend in an environment that maybe you're uncomfortable in because it's someone else's celebration, or you don't really want to go to a certain event or something like that, but you feel like you have to. Well, maybe you don't. Maybe this year you get the pass to be like, you know what? I'm just going to focus on me and rest up and take this time to snuggle in. And I'm not going to go and be everything, running around, spending all my money and using up all my time on things that just stress me out. Does that make sense? Because it's really easy to put a lot of things on our calendars around this time of year. Maybe not this year so much. Maybe we do have that golden ticket to be like, you know what? I'm just going to sit this one out a little bit more this year and chill. That could be pretty cool. And think about how you're going to feel on January 3rd. I always say January 3rd because, January 1st, you're probably, recovering or sleeping in or something. And then January 2nd, you need a day to catch up. So how are you going to feel on January 3rd? Are you going to feel exhausted and all crazy? Or are you going to feel refreshed and fulfilled? It's up to you. So you definitely need to plan a little fun in there. I'm going to talk about that a little bit. And resist that social pressure to accept every invitation, to go to anything. And again, this year, hopefully nobody's really doing that. I want to make that a little bit more clear. And I'll continue to talk about that. But, there is going to be a little bit of social pressure to mask up and go to a couple of things and, try to practice our holiday social distancing. Kind of hard to do. So I do need you to, have some priorities about what you will and won't do. Because none of us needs to run ourselves down or compromise our immunity or not feed ourselves well this time of year and just eat junk food and cookies because, it's the holidays, right? No. You need to schedule some downtime where maybe it's just you relaxing with a cup of tea, where you might not, watching it snow, very much like what I'm doing right now, except I'm talking to you. It's okay to take downtime. And again, this is the year for it. This is the year where we need to say, you know what? I'm going to be doing things for me, and that's okay. And believe me, there's still plenty of opportunity to show up for others. Everything, you don't have to be everything to everyone. Like I said, I can hear all of you busy mamas out there going, but if I don't make the cookies for the bazaar, then, and it's like, well, maybe not this year. Do you have to do it every year for 40 years? Maybe, but it sounds like a big commitment. Okay. And then also celebrate your health right now. What are you doing right now to make yourself feel healthier? And how are you acknowledging that? When we say, why are we celebrating? We're celebrating our health and our wealth and our happiness right now. And if you're always putting yourself down about your habits or continuing to self-sabotage yourself, that's not always going to be the thing that makes you happy or less stressed, right? But celebrate your health and be like, I'm doing really good. I have been keeping up with these things, and because I am prioritizing my well-being, I get to, feel really good about waking up on, Christmas morning or whatever it is, and not being exhausted this year, not being a total wreck and grumpy or whatever comes with the, running yourself down a little bit or being, not having great boundaries, right? Because your health is worth a lot more than almost anything else you can celebrate, if you ask me. So, and the more, when you celebrate something and you're going to be celebrating it in such a way, it's like, on January 1st, I want to really celebrate my health and go for a 5-mile run or whatever makes you feel good about, that aspect of your well-being. And if you're going to kind of do that and be like, that's going to be such a great day where I am really on top of my, my running game or whatever your thing is. If you're expecting to do that, you're going to treat it better. If you got that on the calendar, you're going to be like, okay, I need to really prioritize that and stay with it. And how fun to celebrate your health. And you don't have to include anybody in that. but just to, be like, wow, I'm doing pretty good. I hope so anyway. And if not, we're going to figure out some ways to fix it. So don't let yourself get run down. Here, we're going to go through the don'ts. I want you to take some supplements. I want you to definitely sleep more. That's what this time of the year is. The darkness is for sleep. It really, truly is, because think of how busy you were this summer. Oh my goodness, it feels like just yesterday I was like running crazy all over the place in the summertime. And now that it, gets dark around 5, everybody kind of hunkers down a little bit more, and that's a good thing. I know that my husband and I have been going to bed earlier, and it's nice. It's very nice. We need it. We absolutely need it. And I challenge you on any kind of thinking that, oh, well, I can get by on 6 hours a night. No, you can't. No, you can't. No, you can't. And even if you can for a little while, it's going to catch up with you. And your performance, your mood, everything will be so much better if you sleep more. Trust me. If you have questions about sleeping, please contact me. I want you to drink water. Water. I just keep a glass next to the refrigerator, and every time I walk by, I drink a pint of water. I don't know. Is that enough? I also have a couple of cups of tea a day, and I also probably drink more water. Yeah, it's working. It definitely is. Don't forget about water just because it's not summer, okay? Stay active. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go outside or go to the gym to be active. You can do yoga indoors just fine, or dance, or weights, or calisthenics, or stretching, or whatever. So don't let that mindset of, oh, well, it's winter now, or it's dark out now, stop you from staying active. And active doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be like, running 5 miles a day or something. It just means that you need to not be sedentary for long periods. It's always very easy to just get in a few, sun salutations or squats or push-ups or something. You can weave it in very, very easily. So no matter how, your attention might be pulled in other directions, like buying gifts and cooking and things, you can still stay active. And next week, we're going to talk about the action plan for a happy and healthy Thanksgiving. And that's really going to help set you off for continuing that throughout the rest of the holidays. And then, yes, you do need to get outdoors a little bit, though. You need to get your fresh air. And just kind of get some sun, get some vitamin D. Even though it looks overcast, you're still getting a little bit if it's snowing or something like that, or just kind of, the light is a little bit less direct this time of year, but it's still benefiting you, and especially for your eyes to get that light, because we can be in the dark for a lot of winter, and our eyes need to be exercised, and they need to be stimulated by sunshine, daytime light. So let that light in and get outside and breathe some fresh air, even if it's just a 10-minute walk around the block. It's gonna do you wonders. All right, so that's number 1 don't. Number 2 don't. Number 2 don't. Don't feel guilty if things aren't the same as always. So, ditch the traditions that no longer work. Dare I say it? Is there something about how the holidays go that you just don't look forward to? It doesn't jive with you. It's not your thing. Maybe it's time to say, I'm not doing that. Maybe it's time to, say no to the company Christmas party this year because you don't really enjoy it. And you left a gift at the office, right? Whatever it is, it's okay if you change it up. And then also make the necessary tweaks to the traditions that do work. We are going to have to change some things this year. There is just no doubt about it. And so if you embrace, wearing masks and going to church, or whatever is deemed socially safe in this time of year for, these kinds of things. Maybe you go to an outdoor church service or something like that, making the necessary tweaks. Maybe we don't do that one thing this year because it's, just not possible or not practical. You can still keep a lot of your traditions, even though we're going to have to give up a few things that maybe we always did just because. And then what if you did some new things? What if you were willing to find a new tradition or try a different way of doing something and letting that usher in, this next new, like I was saying in the beginning, today is the 11/11 portal, and we're setting intentions not just for the holiday season, but for into this new year. And we have had one of those years that marks a decade. And now we are moving into 2021 with a renewed vision, hopefully, of who we are and what we can be. And that might mean that you celebrate something in a new way and bring in something new. And that doesn't mean that you don't have to do the old thing anymore, or won't ever do it that other way ever again. No, it's just, but maybe try something new this year. Maybe have sushi on Christmas Eve and everybody rolls their own, and that's the thing that you do. I don't know. It can be anything. I definitely remember going to my grandmother's in central North Dakota. Every Christmas Eve, you had to be there by 4 p.m. I'm not quite sure if she had some, old lady like saying that you had to eat before sundown or something like that, or eat at sundown. It probably was something like that, because if you were late for Christmas Eve dinner, you got the side eye, like, what are you doing? And I never understood why it wasn't more relaxed. But maybe, as things change, our family, definitely has had, but we had the same Christmas Eve every year, predictable for so long. Like, talk about tradition and expectation, and not necessarily expectation, but knowing what to expect. You get to grandma's and it was absolutely like clockwork routine, and you know exactly what food to expect, you knew what cookies to expect, you knew where everyone was going to sit when they opened gifts in the living room. Like, all of it was every year. And then we started getting a little older, and honestly, that period of time probably didn't last that long. But when you're a child, it seems like every year is the same. You're like, oh my God, we're going to do that again? Why can't we do something else? But then when it does change, and it looks different, it marks it. It you don't forget that, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. So let's welcome change and be willing to kind of flex and flow with what's going on in this season. And then the third don't is, don't be everything to everyone. You just can't. I know that we are trying to celebrate abundance, and giving gifts is part of that, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go overboard. It might just mean that you need to think about it a little bit more rationally and plan it out before going into the stores and being like, or being online and being like, click, in the cart, purchase. Think about it. I know that some of us want to show our love by purchasing gifts, but not to it's kind of a thing where, like, if the recipient of the gift is a kid and you are lavishing them with a bunch of gifts, grandmas maybe, or favorite aunties or whatever, it doesn't really help the kid, and the kid loves you anyway. Too much of a good thing can be a good thing. And especially if you are watching, your finances and really need to keep a lid on things, don't feel bad about, only giving someone a small gift. That's okay. Or a handmade gift. or something else, or a gift of your time, or babysitting services, it's okay. You do not have to celebrate the season only in a financial way, only in a monetary money shopping kind of way. Keep it simple. Whatever you do, try to offer or be, keep it simple. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to go, balls to the walls, Martha on everything. And that will help you really stay focused on your purpose. If you keep it simple, then you'll have time and energy and budget to, donate a Thanksgiving dinner or something like that. I'm always so thankful when I can donate to the local food bank. And I start doing it in November, and I do it almost every week all the way through the holiday, because I know that this is a time of year where they need more support. I should almost be doing it every week of every month, of the year. But I especially try to do it around this time, and I want to give good organic Thanksgiving groceries is kind of my little twist on it. Is just because I'm giving to the food bank doesn't mean I have to give the cheapest thing on the shelf. I actually try to give the more expensive of the groceries that I donate. I also donate little gift packs to immigrant children in the neighborhoods here. We have a little drive every year that does that. And then also, and you can do that through your church as well. I don't really have a specific church that I go to, but I definitely participate in that. And then I always do one of the Salvation Army gift things on the trees, the little gift for little kids. This year I'll probably do 2 or something like that. But you don't have to go overboard. But when you kind of look at your purpose and manage your expectations and have some realistic boundaries about things, then you can feel really good about the giving that you do, right? Absolutely. And let others take some responsibility. I think of my grandma again with this example, because she would always make this one cabbage, stuffed cabbage roll, Ukrainian dish, or it's like Eastern European kind of. And she always had to bring it. And no one else could bring it because no one else seemed to know how to make it, which is ridiculous. But that was grandma's thing. She always had to bring it to the family, celebration. And does she have to do it every year until she's 89? I mean, come on. Let others take some responsibility. And if it's not as good as Grandma Hertha's, sorry, you know what? So if you are done doing something or feel like, well, if I don't do that, then someone's going to be upset. No, it's okay. And if that person is, depending on you to make their Christmas, then they've lost their purpose. Does that kind of make sense? Okay, awesome. So I hope these have helped. And I just want to wrap it up by just helping, obviously we're looking at these few categories here of defining our holidays, and it's like our faith. How are we going to change it up this year? Maybe you're going to have to do an online religious event. That's nothing new to me. I would always, this is one of my little rituals that kind of, quote, make the holiday for me, is when I can tune in and watch the Pope at the Vatican on Christmas Eve and watch it, right there from Rome. And I've been doing that for 25 or more years. So I have been, tuning in online, so to speak, for many, many, many years. This is nothing new. So don't think that we have to do church online this year. No, it's fine. It absolutely is. And hello, that's been going on for a long, long time. Streaming church services or Sunday morning TV church services. That's been happening for a long time. So don't be all upset if you have to have church online this year. Sure, it's not quite as good as going to church and being with everyone and having that energy of everyone coming together in fellowship, but it's close. It's better than nothing. And then do the socially distant volunteering, like I was just saying about, doing the little gift packages for, different charities and things like that. Then you can be participating, but not have to be, out into, everyone else's space, let's say. Okay, and then family, maybe you stick to handmade or local gifts and set a little budget. Everyone says that, but I feel like no one really adheres to it, or you think that there's something wrong with it. Not at all. Not at all. Because we have a lot to be thankful for, and it's not because we got the latest version of an iPad or something like that. Like, that's not really the reason that we're happy, right? Virtual school plays. I have no idea, really. I don't have kids, so I don't know what y'all are planning for the school holidays or school performances and things like that. But I would think it would have to look a little bit different, and that's okay. And maybe there isn't a school play this year. That would be, disappointing, but we'll get through it, right? It's just one of those things that this year is different, right? And then you can also do like an online movie night where, you get together in like a Facebook room or something like that with a few of your girlfriends and all decide that at 8 o'clock you're going to watch a Christmas movie or something like that. And you can, talk to each other or text each other or do whatever, just knowing that you're all, chilling at home, but you're all watching a movie together. I don't know. I think that sounds kind of fun. Be creative, be flexible, be open to new things. And then also food, I know that it's really fun to go out to eat and things like that, but what if you, focused more on homemade dinners this year, which we should be doing anyway. And I'm also going to be talking about smart eating at holiday parties in a couple of weeks here. So stay tuned for that. And then also, go ahead and make those favorite cookies and make the eggnog and, indulge a little bit on those ends of it. Not so much that, you're going over your boundary or being really unhealthy, but putting a little bit of special effort into something like that can really make it seem like it's, the holiday rather than, we're having to do so many things that are different. Food can really be the constant, and it's not something that most of us really need to make a concession for at the because of social distancing or something. You can still make all of your stuff at home, and then fun. Maybe it's an intimate party where it's just, I know we're all a little bit tired maybe of our little pod here that we've all been living in for the last several months, but maybe we, need to amp it up and celebrate with each other a little bit more intentionally, even though we have been spending time together. And outdoor recreation is a really fun thing to do. You can do a lot of socially distant things outdoors. And especially if it's like a kind of a cold day, I betcha it's very safe to be outside. So whatever that looks like for you, if it's just going for a walk, or if it's doing a sleigh ride, or if it's what else? Oh, cross country skiing or snowshoeing. There's lots of things that you can do no matter where you are to get outside and just kind of enjoy the snow a little bit, enjoy the cooler temperatures and the shorter days, and just really drink it all in. Maybe you want to watch some like live streaming performances. I have a feeling that there will be a lot of celebrities, artists and things doing Christmas things online because they haven't been able to be touring and things like that. So maybe you make it a point to stay in and really watch some of the choirs or other holiday theatrical performances that might be available online or on your streaming devices or whatever you've got. Sounds kind of cool to me, actually, to be able to be open to seeing something, a live performance maybe at Carnegie Hall or something that you wouldn't have maybe a lot of access to in your normal life, if unless you traveled or live in New York. And you could see it right in your own, living room around your own Christmas tree. I think that sounds nice. You can also do like at home spa nights. Now I'm talking, girls, boys, whatever. Boys need grooming too, right, y'all? And it could, if it's just you and your partner or something, it could be like massage night or something like that, where you just like lay in front of the fireplace and kind of make each other feel good and go to bed early, whatever it happens to be, home spa night. We all need a little pampering right now. And if, I certainly haven't been to a body worker this year, and my body is feeling it for sure. But there's a lot you can do at home to make yourself feel great, to make yourself feel fulfilled and pampered. And all of these things can be strung out from now until January, like for real. It doesn't all have to happen the week of your holiday or on your holiday or whatever it is. Starting now, you can do a little bit at a time and just really enjoy it as you go, rather than everything has to happen in this big, huge explosion. That's a little stressful. And it makes me, by the time I get to, if I've been stressing out on like, okay, how am I going to be ready to do 48 hours of ultimate BAM entertaining and get all of the food and all of the stuff ready, it's a little too much. And then by the time it comes, you're like, oh my God, I am completely drained and not even enjoying this. Start now and you'll get there. You'll definitely a little piece of it at a time, for sure. And again, I don't start watching Christmas movies until December 1st because I like to have a little bit of a boundary around that kind of stuff. But that doesn't mean that you can't start cooking a little bit or planning a little bit or just sitting and enjoying the season, whatever it looks like. And I'm really a fan of Thanksgiving. I know I've got all my Christmassy, kind of imagery here, but actually I'm really a fan of Thanksgiving. And it kind of sometimes gets a little bit skipped over. So I leave up all of my Thanksgiving stuff until the last day of the month and don't put up any Christmassy or not even a whisper of Christmas. That doesn't mean I'm not planning and doing some things ahead of time. So I really want you to get your emotional, physical, and spiritual needs met, because that's what this is all about. We've worked really hard all year long, and it's time to cozy up, treat ourselves really well, celebrate all of that work, celebrate the abundance right now, celebrate the darkness, because it's time to rest and allow our bodies to kind of, chill out, rejuvenate. Think about all of the ways that you need to energize yourself, body, mind, and spirit, and take that, priority of prioritizing your well-being, number 3, right? Number 3, all the way into the new year. And then, if you don't run yourself down right now, when the new year comes, you're like, yeah, I'm feeling great. And that's what we want. All right. I want to really thank you for joining me. This has been awesome. And I just really want to make sure that, no matter how you celebrate, that you do it in a way that is easy and joyful. All right. Until next week, I will be taking it easy. And I hope you do too. Be well.